Morning. It's Wednesday, May 13th. And as most of you know by now, the country is reopening after the pandemic slowly in many parts of the country. But down in Florida, they opened up their beaches. So this is a story of Brevard County's beach at Cocoa Beach, which has gotten people very excited at it being open, and they got some large crowds that showed up. And along with the crowds that showed up, they brought along a little something that they left behind. 13,000 pounds of trash over the weekend. Now, normally, when people show up at the beach, they leave a couple bags here and there, so the average daily bag count would be like 12 or 15 bags. So this past weekend, they had 130-something bags on Saturday and 140-something bags on Sunday. And of course, the county executives, the police chief, and those people are very upset because they have a group of people who voluntarily come and clean the beach. But now, with this influx and the amount of trash that's being left there, the volunteers can't keep up with it. And the police department and the sanitation department have too many other things to do to worry about the trash on the beach. That's an imposition. So they instituted a fine now of $250 if you go to the beach and you're caught littering. And if somebody sees littering on the beach, they have a telephone number that they can call. And hopefully the police will get there in time to get the perpetrator. But that's not necessarily what the police want. They don't want to be running to the beach to pick up people who just refuse to carry their garbage home with them, So, that's become a big problem down there. And the officials, the local officials, are very upset by this behavior. It's like they let a bunch of wild animals loose. Now, in addition to the garbage being unsightly and unhealthy, it affects the wildlife. Many of the birds and other creatures that exist along the beach will get into that garbage, and it's not healthy for them. They can die from eating that garbage, according to one of the town officials. So, in addition to having a nasty garbage overflow and everything, there's a possibility of having some dead critters on the beach. So, it's a very upsetting situation, and it scares me to think of what's going to happen when this country finally is unleashed from our quarantine. This is probably just a small example of what's going to happen when people are allowed to run loose on the streets again. So I think that being penned up for 8 or 10 or 15 weeks is going to have a more than expected amount of unintended consequences. Sorry to say that. Now I want to talk about another form of, let's call it civil disobedience. Let's talk about Elon Musk. You know who Elon Musk is. He's the CEO of Tesla Motors, very, very wealthy man, a billionaire. He's got a big plant in Alameda, California. And they're shut down, and they've been told to keep their plant closed. And he intends to open a plant. So Musk filed a lawsuit against Alameda County over the weekend demanding the factory be allowed to open. But authorities had demanded the area remain on lockdown until the end of May. So Musk told his followers on Twitter that he would join his workers at the facility, and if anyone is arrested, I ask that it only be me. Now, this move escalates what's rapidly becoming one of the highest profile showdowns between business and government about reopening. In fact, Musk says he might take Tesla's headquarters to Nevada or Texas where the lockdowns are less strict. He considers the stay-at-home orders fascist, and also Nevada and Texas offer a big plus. They tend to have low or no corporate tax. So Musk could win all the way around here. If Musk gets away with this, he's setting an example for other businesses and other corporations to look closely at states like Texas and Nevada, where corporate taxes are low and lockdown rules are lenient, and many corporations might consider moving there. Of course, the downside to this whole thing is, will their workers move with them? That's a big consideration. Musk has probably some skilled employees that need to go with him. Now, he could increase their salaries in some way. He could make an offer to keep these people, and they also would benefit because Nevada and Texas have probably got little or no state taxes too, although I'm not sure about that. But in any event, this is an interesting situation. And I have to stick with the government on this thing. I have to agree with Newsom that he's got to keep the place closed. And I disagree with Musk's action in defying the health of the community. So I side with the governor on this thing, but it's a very difficult situation. And even if Musk keeps this place closed, that doesn't mean he'll stay there anyhow. He might withdraw the lawsuit and leave and go to Texas or Nevada, where they would probably love to have those jobs. So it's really a conundrum. I have no really good answer, except I believe in law and order. And I believe that big business right now has too much say and too much influence over the overall branches of our government, from local governments to state governments, to the federal government, to the presidency. Big business has too much say in this country, with super PACs and super PACs and campaign funding and a Supreme Court that goes along with all that. So I hope that Newsom wins this thing. So that's it for today.